60s, looking better on Friday. Highs near 80, mostly sunny and pleasant for the weekend. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special world famous sauce. Open daily. Locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's. It's always good. And I'm Soar Gene 12. She's meteorologist Patrick 4.
Radio 92.7.
You hear that? That's the sound of power. The call of the open road. That is the newly designed 2019 Indian Chieftain Limited. Yeah, Indian. More than a bike, it's an experience and an American icon. And the place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. Ready to answer that call? Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Nicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nuga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nuga Radio.
If you want to discover the real hope for your life through inspirational music, relevant messages, and testimonies from others who have already found hope, then we encourage you to visit the second annual My Hope Conference, October 7th through 9th, at Hickson First Baptist Church. Free admission and childcare is provided for kids up to pre-K, while those in kindergarten through 5th grade will attend the Kids Hope Rally. For more info, visit myhopeconference.com or call Hickson First Baptist Church at 423-877-2467.
92.7 Nuga Radio.
Good morning. Myself. Y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave that police department. From the valley low to the mountaintop, give you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jared. Oh, good morning, everybody tuning in so far. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show, back again with another day in the trenches. Oh, man. And despite what's going on, I am focused. I am upbeat. I remain hopeful about the things that I know that no matter what's going on, I am encouraged, and that there are boots on the ground, hands in the situation, eyes on it, getting ready to step up wherever there is help. Wherever people need help, wherever people need encouragement, wherever people need just somebody to love on them and care for them. And that is why I am here. And I believe that's why Avenue has been opened up for me to be able to give people a little dosage of love and encouragement every single day. And I am here with backup. I'm always excited when I get to have somebody here in the studio with me. This is becoming a familiar person on my show. Miss Natasha Turnbow was with us last week, and we had a very, very, very good conversation, even though it was a little short. So I wanted her to come back and dedicate a whole show to her, where we're going to talk about work-life balance. Last week, we talked about grief. What's up, Christopher Dahl? And before I get into it, y'all know what it is, 800-8949 if you want to call and talk to us, as well as just drop a comment, wave, interact with us on social media. We're streaming live on Facebook as well as YouTube. Miss Natasha, you were with us last week talking to us about grief, weren't you not?
Yes, I was. And emotional wellness.
Emotional wellness. Taking care of the body, the spirit on the inside.
Yes, because that's where it all starts. A lot of times we focus more on the outside, and we get our hair done, our nails done, and get some shoes, pocketbooks and things like that. But it really all starts within. Because if you're not good on the inside, you're not going to be any good on the outside. You may look good on the outside.
And be a wreck, be torn up on the inside.
Yes.
And so, we're living in a rat race society, a fast-paced society, especially here in the city of Chattanooga, where it's kind of difficult for people to get their financial foothold. A lot of people work a job and a half, or work two jobs, or have a corporate job and have a side business. There are a lot of people out there, people like Chris, who of Hacker Medias, who's a photographer here in the city of Chattanooga, Terrence Locke of Chef Express, Brandon Woodruff with Scenic City Tea. So, you and your business, Natasha Turnbow and Associates, there are a lot of people who, and we met at Cigna.
Exactly. Corporate.
me and Natasha met while I was working at Cigna in the office here in the city of Chattanooga.
As a matter of fact, I was getting certified right at that time too. I was doing the double thing, and now I'm full life coach.
Oh man,
solely full life coach,
and that's a blessing. But people are. It's really, really hard to balance. And one of the things that while we were talking before you came on the show was that no one really teaches people how to balance all of the things that's going on in their life. We get told to get a job, get married, have children, start a business, and nothing is wrong with that. But what people don't teach you is like how to keep all of those balls up in the air and not drop them all.
And it can be very difficult, like balancing work and family. It's using your time and energy to your advantage, basically. You know what I'm saying? So you can be at your best self for your family, for your, for work, for you got to know how to energize all that. You have to make the time for yourself. The thing is, a lot of time we get so wrapped up in everything that is going on. We're catering when we're at a corporate job. We're catering to the boss. Or we're catering to customers. When you're at home, especially as a parent, you're catering to your children. If you're married, you're catering to your spouse. And never do we take the time to cater to ourselves. And we have to, because that's a part of when we're making out our goals and everything in life, we have to actually take out an hour for ourselves and just sit down and relax and think. And that way we can get away from everything so that when we do come back in, we have a different perspective. It's not so much as, oh, here we go again. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, we got this. You know what I'm saying? Because I done took some time for me. So you have to be able to balance yourself in there. And that's the neglect that we put on ourselves. And that's what happens with a lot of people. We get overwhelmed. We working from one job, going from one job to another, catering to this one and that one, trying to sustain the bills, trying to make sure we got a roof over our head, shoes on our feet, clothes on our back, food to eat, and all that. And we get consumed. We get totally consumed in getting stuff that we tend to forget about ourselves. And so you have to work that out to try to make sure that you take some you time. Get some me time in there.
So you kind of said two things there. The first thing is that, and this is something that my parents had, and really in 2018, it's no excuse for anybody not to have a calendar.
Right.
Back in, when I remember my parents having Rolodexes, legitimately having a physical calendar where they would have to write out everything.
I got two of them. I still live by it.
So it's 2018. And so the first thing that we need to do to help balance things, right, is not try to keep it all in here.
Correct.
Free up some space.
Free some space in your brain and write it down every night before you go to bed. Just take the time to write down everything that you plan on doing for the day. And once you complete a task, you can scratch that off your list and you will feel complete. You will feel accomplished. But as long as you have this huge list, and people overrate multitasking. I really believe they do, because what happens with multitasking is you're doing 800 things at one time and nothing is getting done.
Nothing is finished.
I know it. So it's really overrated. But if you take the time to do one thing at a time and accomplish one thing at a time and scratch it off your list, you'll feel better about yourself. It makes you feel better instead of looking at this list and saying, oh my gosh, I didn't do that. And that's what is stress. And you know what I'm saying? The self-doubt and all the self-pity and all that stuff come in. I should have done this and I should have done that and I should. Well, if you had a list of everything that you had planned on doing, and trust, the list may change throughout the day. Things come up, things change. It's okay. It is okay. But at least you have a goal. You have an outline of what it is you want to accomplish for the day.
And so keeping a schedule. Keeping a calendar. If you have an iPhone, you have a calendar. If you have an Android, you have a calendar. For people who have Apple products, you can link all your calendars, sync them with one another. So from your laptop to your your cell phone to your tablet, you can have everything synchronized with one another. So as soon as you got a task added, it's added to all of your devices. If it's removed from all of your devices. But it's other thing
with Android as well.
Okay,
I'm an Android user. I know.
It's a divide. It's a divide.
Hey, you know.
But the other thing is making a promise to yourself to take care of yourself.
Exactly.
And that is to solidify a time block. You say an hour. If you can't spare an hour now this is personal opinion. All right. Opinions. Everybody has one. But a lot of people, if you got Netflix time, and that may be your hour, way of, right. But for some of us, our hour, I would recommend, especially when you talk to people all day long or you listen to people all day long, you may need just a moment of silence.
Exactly. Just an hour of silence.
Or some smooth jazz.
Yeah, some music, some wine or something. Just something just to read a book. Sit down and relax. Yeah.
Pick your feet up.
Yes. Just sit down and relax for an hour. Take that hour. When you're writing everything that you have to do for the day, you make sure that you incorporate that hour in there. At least give yourself an hour. You give your job 8 hours.
Or 10.
You give your children 24. You give your spouse 24. Why not give yourself just one?
Just one.
So a lot of it, well, I don't have time for that. That's because you're not making the time.
Ooh.
You have to make the time.
You have to make the time. Wow.
Yes, you have to make the time. So when you're writing down your goals and you're writing down your to-do list for the day, and like I said, it may change, but at least always take an hour for yourself to just sit down, relax, play a game. I mean, all these little game apps and everything. Just do something that you enjoy that will just take your mind and take the stress away from everything because it relaxes you. So that when your kids do come to you or when a situation does arise, you are more apt to deal with it because you have a more relaxed state of mind rather than going, oh my gosh, what we gonna do? How we gonna handle this? Because you have so much other stuff going on that you focus on all the other stuff instead of what's at hand. So you want to take the time to be able to focus on everything at hand if possible.
Right. And now on the flip side of that, it's also very, very important, like when you do go to work, because this is a problem that I see, that I've seen in corporate America, is that people don't take that time at home to decompress, to organize, to talk. My mother journals. That would be the way that journaling and bubble baths.
Yeah.
That was the way. Like I legitimately can go back to my childhood, seeing my mom being in corporate America and knowing that she had a lot of tough days. She worked sometimes 50 or 60 hours in a week.
Yeah.
But she was dedicated to bubble baths and journaling. And unless the house was on fire or me or my siblings were bleeding, you knew when she went in the bathroom and she closed the door and you heard that tub running, you better leave mama alone.
Because she was taking the me time. She was balancing all of that.
She had 3 kids.
Again, balancing. And that's the thing. That's what we have a lot of times in today's society. We have neglected ourselves. We focus on everybody else. And I'm not saying to the point where you become selfish. You know what I'm saying? And all about self, because sometimes people can take it to the extreme. And, it's like, well, it's all about me. No, not really. Because what you do affects not only you, but it affects the people around you, whether you're conscious of it or not. It's a snowball effect. That's just what it is. And so what people are going to have to realize is that everything, it's all a unit. Everything. The universe, it's not a triverse, it's a universe. That means it's just one. So everybody, even though they have their separate parts and everything, they play a role in this one universe that, and everybody is needed. Every role is needed. So whether you think you're here for you, you're not doing this radio show just for you. You're doing it for other people. You know what I'm saying? When somebody clean the toilet at the gas station or whatever, they're not doing that just for them. Even though that may be their job. And I commend everybody's position. I don't look down on anybody because none of us are inferior nor superior to anybody. You know what I'm saying? We're not better or worse than anybody. But I promise you this, if I have to go to the bathroom at a gas station and it is dirty, I appreciate the clean one. You have to appreciate everybody in their capacity.
And imagine if the person, and this is how we talk about like the work balance. Imagine if that person, because they didn't take care of themselves or they didn't take care of their personal life, they're running themselves on empty. And I see a lot of people doing this. Can I be the first to say I am guilty? I am guilty because I've said it before. And then the sad part is we often sometimes have to check ourselves and what we say. Exactly. Because then we tell the story of what we're doing. Oh, I'm Marie. I'm all gas, no brakes. Girl.
No. I'm gonna need you to take a break. I'm gonna need you to take an hour for yourself. Exactly. Cut your phone off, cut everything. And I say that not because you're not being a help, but in order for you to be able to help others, you have to be able to help yourself. Mm-hmm. And what good are you going to be if you have stressed yourself out or your health is waning and everything or setting the balance and everything, and you don't take care of yourself? And where's the Marie Mott show then if Marie Mott is not available? You know what I'm saying? So you do have to take that. It is very important. It is imperative to take that balance or to take that time for yourself and just relax and just do something that you love. Right. You have to. Don't get too wrapped up because at the end of the day, honestly, enjoy what it is that you have in front of you. Enjoy your breath. Enjoy your life, because what happens is not only do we go into the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but, we'll lose the things that we say are more important than our job, or we'll lose. And that's another thing, this whole work balance thing. And that's one of the reasons why I became a life and business coach, is because a lot of times people bring their personal lives to work. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people take their work home. Mm-hmm. And you have to balance that. Leave work at work. Leave work at work.
It's going to be there tomorrow.
Exactly. Not only that, but you can't take it if you were to expire today. You cannot take that job with you.
Oh, wait. Pause. Pause. Because I've seen this dynamic. I've seen people work themselves to the bone. To the bone, kill over, and you know what that job's going to do tomorrow?
Hire somebody
else to replace you.
Exactly.
And this is very, very important for people who have children, or it shucks if you just have family, if you have friends. Some of us don't even get out to see friends.
Exactly.
Super guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. Right.
Yeah.
Time. So my dad has this saying, and that is, baby, don't waste time or don't waste people's time, because it's the only thing that you can't get back.
Exactly.
Once it's gone, it's gone. Like your children are only going to be small when they're small.
Exactly.
And when they grow up and become teenagers, a lot of them, they love you, they care for you.
Teenagers.
Teenagers. A lot of them they're going to have their own friends, their own opinions, their own viewpoint of the world. And the time where they really could appreciate you.
And that's the time, like from 0 to 3, from birth to 3. That is the most nurturing time. And honestly, here lately in our society, because we're overwhelmed with work and because we're overwhelmed with other situations, that's the most neglectful time. in a lot of cases. We'll send our kids to daycare and let everybody else take care of them. And then when they get home, we're so wrapped up in, okay, I got to talk to this one on the phone and I got to handle this situation. You're not balancing everything that's going on. And so the kids end up being neglected.
Or you push it to the weekend. And that's not any better, because one of the things that's very, very important is I can tell you personally, it would mean something to me when my parents, they would work, work a lot. But something that was very, very important was us sitting down at the dinner table, all of us. Yeah. Something simple like that. Sitting down at the dinner table where my parents could eat dinner with us, but also just ask us, how was your day? How was school?
Yep. Exactly.
How are you feeling?
That works. But here's the thing, though. We can start out doing that, but here's what we have been negligent on in the new age is consistency. We'll start it. I mean, a lot of people start a workout. You know, I'm working out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm good. I'm Thursday come around. Well, I worked 3 days straight. So I'm going to take this day off. And then next thing you know, you're all off balance and everything is going back to where it was in the first place. But if you stay consistent, that's the only way you get results. You didn't learn your ABCs in one walk. They didn't go through and say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you learned it all, and you got it on the first try. It took some consistency. It took some repetition, and it took you going through it over and over and over again until it became a part of you. And that's the thing. As parents, if we want our kids to be more respectful to us, we have to appreciate and respect that they are little people with little feelings. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that we have to cater to them and do what it is that they want us to do all the time, but we're supposed to be. They need consistency because they growing up. You're not raising girls and boys.
Oh man, it's Mariva with the Mariva Show, man. We're chopping it up so bad. We're having a good time talking about work-life balance, learning how to make sure that you are there, keeping it all together for your family. It's hard, but that's why we're talking about it, because I want you to be successful. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
County Sheriff's deputies rescued an 11-year-old who was trapped underwater. Initial reports say a neighbor heard a boy screaming as he was being washed away and down into a drainage pipe. The neighbor waded over and held the boy's head above water till deputies arrived. The rescue a success. The young man was not injured. The Red Cross has shelters open for those displaced by the floods in Hickson and Soddy Daisy. The three are Oak Street Baptist Church, Trinity Lutheran Church on Hickson Pike, and Daisy First Baptist Church on Dayton Pike. And a sinkhole has formed on Highway 111 southbound, causing major headaches for first responders and commuters. The Tennessee Highway Patrol says it has work crews on the scene. They'll continue working until the area is safe. And with the raging floodwater sweeping through Soddy, a kayaker had gone missing. Hamilton County EMS searched the area of Mott Lake Road and Pocket Wilderness. Later, they found the man uninjured. Val St. John for Nuga Radio News Talk 92.7 Action News now.
Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nuga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
Cash, and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Freighter Road, Chattanooga.
It's that time of year again. For the 7th year, Wings Over North Georgia Air Show will be Saturday, October the 13th, and Sunday, October the 14th. You'll see some of our government's finest assets flying in the world today. The rarely seen Air Combat F-22 Raptor demo team and the A-10 Warthog will both headline the show, along with Tora, which is the reenactment of Pearl Harbor to include pyrotechnics. Patty Wagstaff and Michael Goulian, both world aerobatic champions, will be showing off their amazing skills, along with numerous other aviation rock stars. On the ground, you'll be able to experience military static displays and even have an opportunity to ride in a Huey or Cobra helicopter. Wings Over North Georgia is an action-packed way to spend the weekend with your family. You can even camp on the grounds. The Richard B. Russell Regional Airport is the place for all the action on October the 13th and the 14th. For tickets and camping reservations, visit wingsovernorthgeorgia.com.
Join Nuga Radio and the Gridiron Gang live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks at 10 North on the North Shore. We're talking all things high school football. There's a specialty brew or refresher weekly inspired by the game of the week. Sweet treats, extended hours all season long, and we're pet friendly. Portions of all proceeds support local schools and educational scholarships, as well as after-school programs. It's football time in Tennessee. Join us every Thursday live from 7 to 9 at Starbucks, 10 North, your North Shore neighborhood living room.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nuga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 11, right here on Nuga Radio.
Nuga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Staying cloudy and wet out there for your afternoon. A few more scattered showers and storms will roll in from the south and west. Highs into the lower to middle 70s tonight. Slowly drying out. Still lots of clouds. Lows into the mid 60s. Looking better on Friday. Highs near 80. Mostly sunny and pleasant for the weekend. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's. Home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special world famous sauce. Open daily. Locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's. It's always good. And I'm Sorgene Twelve. She's meteorologist Patrick 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
That's right, the best thing on the radio that you probably ever heard in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl, Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. And y'all know what it is. I'm here just loving on you. Why? Because I care about you. You're asking who you is. If you hear me talking to you, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. And I have Natasha Turnbow of Turnbow and Associates here with me today. She was here again. If you're just now tuning in, she was here last week talking to us about emotional wellness. And she went over the 5 stages of grief and acceptance of what happens to you. And today I petitioned her to talk to us about work-life balance. And one of the things that we just want to have an organic conversation about on this second segment was an issue that came up yesterday. So I had a family member. I have a family member that works at Brainerd High School who texted. We have a group, family text messaging group where we cut up a lot.
Gotcha.
And she texted and just asked us to be in prayer for what was happening at Brainerd. And, you know, I was worried because she never texts like that.
Wow.
And so then I saw the reports coming out of young people that had taken an illicit drug. People have made assumptions about that. I haven't seen any official evidence about what that is. But the last count, I believe, was that 5 children had taken this drug, whatever it was, and had been rushed to the hospital. And while in no shape, form, or fashion am I going to riff on the children who did this, to me, it is definitely a cry for us to look at our babies and what is happening to our children. Besides the fact that music pushes a drug culture in the first place, which, I have my own opinions about that, but this is definitely not the show about music. Regardless of the fact of whether music pushes it or not, or people can turn on television and see that or not, the responsibility of what children should believe, of what should be the covering or the protective armor around children should be either their parents or their legal guardian. Because we do not live in a day and age where everybody who has children raises them.
Right.
And so I want to also respect those who step up to the plate to raise children that are not their own.
Yeah.
But to me, that was definitely an alarming thing to see, not just one child, but several children.
That is something, and that means that this group of people, they're getting attention from each other. You know what I'm saying? The thing is, we talked about in the first half, self-neglect, but it also becomes neglect of the children. And because you don't take the time to recuperate and balance yourself, then you're no good for your children, you're no good for the people surrounding you, and it becomes an issue. That's why depression and anxiety and things like that are at an all-time high right now, because a lot of people feel bad about what they could have, should have, would have done, and in a situation, because the majority of the time, all people want, especially children, all they want is time, attention, and affection. You know what I'm saying? And if they can't get the time, attention, and affection from home, they're going to go look for it elsewhere. And once you get a couple of them together, I mean, besties and, friends and groups, and because somebody's showing them cliques, gangs, because somebody's showing them that time, attention, and affection that they're not getting at home, then that's what they're looking for. So if we as parents or legal guardians, because I do know some grandparents that are raising children, sad but true, in some cases, you know what I'm saying, whether out of a situation that they caused or didn't cause, but that's on the rise as well. But a lot of times these children just want some attention. They want somebody to care for them. They want somebody to love them. They want somebody to hear them. They are little people with little feelings. And for them to take that route, that means someone neglected the job of letting them know that you can't just eat from everybody else. You can't just take what everybody else is taking. You can't just do what everybody else is doing. And because they didn't have that knowledge, because that knowledge was not instilled in them, they are a result of the ignorance of the legal guardian. That's a result of negligence on our part, because even you do have those that are honorary. Don't get me wrong, especially if they're teenagers, going through the phases. The phase, I know everything,
But at the end of the day, the responsibility is still the burden. And we can't just place, so this is the whole point in having community and having family, it was tough, especially with my parents working so hard. It was tough.
Right.
For my aunts working so hard that it took everybody. It takes a village.
That we have strayed away from. It's like, the whole village, helping to, raise a child. It's like, oh no, you can't tell my child anything. I mean, that's the route that we have gone in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't tell me what to do. And instead of the community coming together to help raise each other like it was done by our ancestors and our predecessors, what we have done is, this is my child, you can't tell me anything, you keep yours over there, I keep mine over here. And then they end up getting together anyway because they're in the same neighborhood, going to the same school. So why not interact and find out what's going on? Again, it goes to the time, attention, and affection. I mean, you have to pay attention not only to yourself, but your surroundings as well. And the community has to come together and help. You know what I'm saying? It takes a village.
It does.
It does. If even if we couldn't see it, like say, even if you didn't see it at home, you were surrounded by people in the community or in your village, in your parents' village, or in your, you know what I'm saying, legal guardian village that made sure you were on a straight and narrow. You know what I'm saying? Everybody made sure that you were on the right path. And
everybody's job is different. So it may be the one person who steps up and says, well, I can just make sure that they make it to the bus stop. Okay.
Right.
Or I can make sure that when I see them get off the bus stop, that they get straight into the house, right, and I don't see them around. Or, hey, when I see
exactly,
you know what
exactly. I mean, make sure that, okay, hey, look, I just saw your child. Somebody just went in your house. I mean, are you expecting them? Or, you know, we don't communicate like that anymore. It's always, well, I'm better than you and you're better than me, and we're trying to outdo each other rather than help each other. I mean, help has 4 letters, H-E-L-P, and so does hurt. Now, which 4-letter word are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Which one are you going to use? Are you going to help the community, or are you going to hurt the community? Because if you're not helping, you're hurting. And if you're not hurting, you're helping.
And one thing that is important to note, and this was something that my dad would do, with us, and that was my dad did not believe in his children, neither did my mother, having privacy in the home where they paid a mortgage.
Oh my gosh,
paid bills. It was not uncommon to come in sometimes and see my mama going through my backpack, see my daddy shaking like sometimes you feel like you're in prison.
In my house, we literally took doors off the hinges. We let you go in your room and lock your door. Okay, I got something for you. We're just gonna take the door off the hinges. You have no privacy until you have your own.
So,
you know.
So one of the things that my parents would be doing would be seeing, because they know, first of all, children are corruptible. Well, people are corruptible, because you see grown-ups who succumb to peer pressure. People act like children are the only ones that go through peer pressure and different things like that. But it's very, very difficult for children to go to school, and just like you spend the majority of your time with people on your job,
right?
They spend the majority of their time with people in school.
Exactly.
And they know these kids.
Yep.
A lot of them live in the same neighborhood as these kids.
Yep.
And so what that means, in order for somebody to smuggle drugs into a school, that means that they have to hold them first.
Yeah.
And how do you get away with holding them? If your parents
aren't checking your book bag, or nobody is checking behind you to make sure that, you know,
who you're talking to, who you're meeting up with, because you still got to get them from somebody.
Exactly. And then once you get them, I mean, you know, if the parents don't know who your friends are, if the legal guardian doesn't know who your friends are, see, back in the day, I needed to know where you were going, how long you was going to be there. I need the mother's number, the daddy's number, the sister number. I need to know everything. Nowadays, it's like, well, you just go ahead and do what you want to do. Neglect.
My grandmother would say, if children were smart enough to raise themselves, they would not have been given parents.
Exactly. Exactly. I love it. I love it.
If they were capable of looking after themselves, then they wouldn't need parents. So this is not to riff on anybody who is having a tough time. I know in the community I come from, I know the district that I live in, we have an overwhelming majority of households where it's single parent led, often by females.
But again, it goes into that balance,
right?
It goes into that balance.
And so even when it's difficult, when it's hard, and this is why it's important for you to get locked into a schedule. And that's another thing. Like, scheduling wasn't just something for something for my parents. My parents, I definitely had a very authoritative father, but he's very methodical. He came from the military.
That's why.
He is with his personality. He appreciates structure, and really, that's what children
need.
That's what children need desperately is they need consistency, they need structure, as well as discipline and love.
Exactly.
And so we could come in by the month. They would have all of the weeks listed out, and by the day, because they would have us on a rotating schedule of like chores that we would do. And so every week or every day you could come in and see, well, what are the expectations of me to do as far as chores after I complete my homework? Because that was the first expectation is when I come in, I got to do my studies.
And it's difficult because nowadays everything is on the technology era. So a lot of times kids aren't bringing books home like they used to because everything is on a computer. But excuse me, we don't take the time to make sure that their homework is done, or we give them an opportunity to do their homework. And then when we ask them about it, well, it's too late. I was supposed to have some Wi-Fi and I didn't have it. Or why you didn't say anything though? If you don't take the time to come to me now, I mean, it goes both ways. Both the children and the parents need to be able to communicate. You know what I'm saying?
Part of that starts with the foundation of you taking that time to make sure that you have to build a relationship with your kids.
And that's again, from 0 to 3, those are the most important years when the brain is being developed. If you want them to learn a second language, that's about the best time. I mean, for it to get stuck in their brain, and be there but that's where they're sponges. That's what they're absorbing. So by the time they turn 4 and get ready to go to school, everything that's in them, everything that they have learned from birth until 3, that's what they're going to act on. And that's all they know, because that's all they know. Because if they know, well, I'm the only child and I know to take everything from you, then for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be taking. Because that's all I know. Because that's how I was raised. You know what I'm saying? Those first 3 years are very critical in our brain function. It's very critical in how we grow. It really is. And without that, I mean, even if it's not
we got somebody calling in. Shucks. Good morning. Talk to me.
Hello, is Sabatino available?
I'm sorry?
Is Sabatino available?
No, you're live on air. We're gonna disconnect. Maybe he didn't know.
Sabatino.
But man, like I was just so disturbed, and I wasn't more or less disturbed because I know this happens at other schools. Let me make that very, very clear. I know this happens at other schools. We're living in a drug culture. We're living in a drug culture. All across the country, people are dealing with addictions to heroin.
The reason why is because they're because of that neglect. I mean, it really goes back to that emotional wellness. It really goes back to that neglect because people are reaching out for attention, affection, and time. And because I can't get it from someone, then I'll get it from something. And that's the reason why a lot of people turn to alcohol and drugs and sex and shopping and eating and whatever, because that's where they find some kind of comfort because they can't get it from a person. You can't get comfort from a thing because it has no feel. It's not genuine. It's temporary. You know what I'm saying? But if we don't come together and help enforce that, then I mean, we end up with situations that, we have kids out here because they're reaching out. That I'm telling you, that is a cry for help. That is a cry when kids start doing things out of the ordinary, especially when it's more than one. Especially when it starts to become an epidemic. I mean, that's really a cry for help. And we need to pay attention. It's not they shouldn't have done that. No, we need to pay attention. The question is, what happened to them for them to do that? Why are they doing that? let's go back a little bit further than, just what is happening.
Right.
Why
did it
happen?
Right. And how did we get into a predicament like this?
What did we miss?
Right.
What did
and so the importance of this is not bringing this up. So the parents of these children, I don't want you to be attacked. I definitely don't want you to wallow in any grief over the situation. What I want you to do is to take a step back from this and say, first of all, thank the Lord that my child did not die from this drug.
And I want to say to the parents as well, and I don't mean to come off if it,
we certainly don't.
I really don't. I'm a parent myself, and my child has done some ridiculousness. So I get it. I understand. But a lot of times we just need to, as parents, just be a little more cognitive of what our children are doing. Just pay a little more attention. Now, the fact that your children, just ended up in the hospital, I'm thankful it was just that. And like you said, not death. Because it could have been a whole lot worse. Yes. And that would have been a whole nother
level of problems, right?
It would have been. But at the same time, don't beat yourself up, because I will say this as a parent too. And I'm saying this because you got a lot of strong parents that not all parents are negligent to their children. You still have some honorary children that's still going to do what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? You can give them all you have. Yes. You can give them everything and they still turn around. So I don't want the parents to beat themselves up either and say, well, maybe I could have done this. I mean, you probably did everything that you could do. And you still may end up with the same results. And I'm saying that as a parent that did everything, and I gave my children attention and I gave them affection. And I had a child that was living a double life. At home, he was doing everything that I asked of him. He was bringing his work home, wasn't skipping school, this, that, and the other. And little did I know, while he's out, he's doing some of everything else. So I understand, but make sure that we are more focused on what's going on and listen to them.
Exactly. Especially as parents, if you're paying for your children's cell phone bill, please call your carrier. If you don't know how to get access, please contact your carrier. They'll be more than gracious to help you with parental controls, because you do need to see who your children are talking to. You need to see what they're talking about. Because bigger than just drugs, our children sometimes are bullied. Yes. Bullying, suicide is something that is on the rise in school. And sometimes these things just slip on by. And it's not because we don't love our children or we don't care for them. It's because we have not carved out that time. To make sure that we're just stepping in, because at the end of the day, we are responsible for the little people that we bring into the world. Yes. And we want them to grow up to be super bright and successful and to turn this city into something better than we have ever imagined. It's Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Miss Natasha Turnbow here with me. I am so grateful. And y'all know I end it every day the same way. And that is, if no one has taken this time today to tell you effectively that they love you, I love you, and it's nothing that you can do about that. Y'all make sure y'all have a beautiful day here in the city of Chattanooga.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
County Sheriff's deputies rescued an 11-year-old who was trapped underwater. Initial reports say a neighbor heard a boy screaming as he was being washed away and down into a drainage pipe. The neighbor waded over and held the boy's head above water till deputies arrived. The rescue a success. The